All right, we're going to start today on this section. It is going to be Simple Interest, Lesson 5-4. We have two equations to add to our equation sheet for Chapter 5. The two equations are interest equals principal times rate times time. Another way you would see this is I equals PRT. Principal times rate times time all together. Okay. The next equation that you will see for today is amount equals principal plus interest. Another way you might see this is A equals P plus I. So keep those in mind. In this lesson, on the previous slide, you should have seen 4 vocabulary words, and those words were interest, the amount of money paid for the use of a lender's money. Simple interest, interest paid only on the original principal. Principal, the amount of money earning interest. Annual interest rate, the percent of the principal earned in 1 year. Let's go ahead and take a look at example number 3. Example 3 says, Joyce Tyler deposits $9,000 into an account that pays an annual 5.5% interest rate. Determine the simple interest in the amount in the account for 3 years, 3 months, and 3 days. So that was 3 years, 3 months, and 3 days. There were 2 pieces of information that I really should have talked about before we moved on. And that is rate should always be the form of a decimal. And time is always a fraction of a year. A fraction of a year. All right. So we want to find the interest and the amount for each one of these options. So A, remember that interest equals my principal times rate times time. So in this case, the principal is $9,000 because that's what's in the account. The rate is that 5.5%, which I'm going to change to 0.055 times 3 years is the amount of time because we're talking about years. So we're leaving it in for 3 years' time. So I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to do 9,000 times 0.055 times 3. We would earn $1,485. That's the interest only. Now it asks what was the amount in the account. Well, remember that interest gets put into our account. They add it to our account. So we are going to add this to $9,000. If I add 9,000 to this, I am going to get $10,485 in my account. So I had 2 answers, $1,485, $10,485. Let's take a look at B. B says if I have this money in there for 3 months. Now remember, time is fraction of a year. How many months are there in a year? 12. So when we do this, we're going to do 9,000 times 0.055 times 3 over 12 because there are 12 months in a year. So I'm going to do 9,000 times 0.055 times 3 divided by 12. Oops, I messed up somewhere. Oh, there it is. I put one too many decimals here. Yep, that's going to kick it back. $123.75. Now remember, this is only my interest. I have to add that to my original principal to find out how much money is now in the account, which would be $9,123.75. Let's take a look at C. C says we're only leaving it in there 3 days. So we're going to do 9,000 times 0.055. There are 365 days in a year. So we're going to do 0.055 times 3 over 365. So I'm going to do the same thing I just did. 9,000 times 0.055 times 3, but this time we're dividing by 365 days. So in this case, we only earn $4.07. Not very much money there. And we're going to add that to my 9,000. And that's going to give me $9,004.07. So again, when I left the money in there for 3 years, I earned $1,485. When I only left it in there for 3 months, I earned $123.75. And when I left it in there for 3 days, I only earned $4.07. So the longer I leave my money in, the more interest I'm gaining. There is questions 4 and 5. Try on your own. I want you to take about 10 minutes. It's very similar to the way we set up example 3. We have to first find our interest and then find out how much money is in the account now. So go ahead and take a look at questions 4 and 5. Try on your own and pause your video for 10 minutes time. All right, take a moment to answer questions 4 and 5, or to double check your answers actually. If you didn't get the right answers and you have questions, just let me know. I'll be glad to help. Notice that for each one I had like 2 parts. We had the interest, the amount, the interest, the amount, and so forth. Notice as you kept the money in there less and less, the amount of interest earned was smaller and smaller. So keep that in mind. Now, on the next slide, you're going to see a debriefing question. Answer that, and then we'll move on to example 4.